on deck this morning during a press conference where he announced a point person in his administration's response to the growing global coronavirus outbreak.
I'm going to be putting our Vice President, Mike Pence, in charge. And Mike will be working with the professionals, doctors, and everybody else.
We will continue to bring the full resources of the federal government in coordination with our state and local partners to see to the health and well-being and to the effective response to the coronavirus here in the United States of America.
There are now more than 80,000 cases worldwide, including the first confirmed case in South America. Federal health officials say while the outbreak is currently contained in the United States, we should be prepared for a pandemic. The Trump administration is asking for $2.4 billion to fight the spread of the outbreak. And here at home, KUAM and the military are working together to stay ahead of the potential spread of COVID-19. The governor announcing she has met with Joint Region Marianas Commander Rear Admiral John Manoni to further discuss Guam's prevention and response planning efforts. Additionally, as part of continued multi-agency response efforts, Public Health is hosting a Guam Pandemic Plan Review working session next week. The purpose of the meeting is to enhance Guam's capabilities in response to COVID-19. Also, a news release from Adelup said a viral rumor of a coronavirus patient at a local hospital is false. There are no confirmed cases at this time. And following GDOE's announcement on Wednesday prohibiting students and staff traveling to areas where there are COVID-19 confirmed cases, there were conflicting messages out of the Department of Defense Education activity today regarding their student activities. KUAM obtained a copy of a memo sent to the parents of Dodea students. It states that it will be postponing all outside school extracurricular activities to include athletics, clubs, and student organizations, and study trips. However, according to the memo, all internal school activities will continue and Dodea will reevaluate the situation on a week-by-week basis. We later received a copy of another message stating that all school events are back on. We reached out to Dodea's district office, but they declined comment. And the latest report from the Guam Visitors Bureau shows a 29.3% drop in arrivals from Korea through February 25th, while the Japan market eked out just a 2.3% gain. The GVB board met today and approved the creation of a new task force on the coronavirus threat. Its primary focus will be to monitor and share information to protect the industry for visitors and employees. The 6-member group of the directors also includes GVD President Pilar Laguana and Task Force Chairman Milton Mornaga.
Of course, now is not the time for the recovery plan, but of course we need to give some guidance to the management what recovery plan we are as a board or as an agency or as a bureau is thinking. That includes airline recovery and also the market recovery. There's a lot of rumors are running around saying this and that, so we want to make sure that we don't get influenced by rumor.
The board is also considering a rainy day fund to be used for unforeseen challenges created by the virus. The last available estimate shows there have been 15,000 cancellations and a $9.1 million loss in revenue from February through April. In 3 days until the 50-cent minimum wage hike goes into effect, and some island businesses are already starting to make their adjustments. Customers at popular Bay Regatta coffee shop Chessa are being greeted by a sign on the door announcing price increases. Employees Shalana Flores and Kailani Oga talk about the customers' reactions.
Customers don't really have anything to say about it other than that they're surprised that the prices have gone up.
Yes, like she said, there is some, our regular customers, they're very surprised in how the minimum wage is going up, so also our prices have to go up as well, because we're not really, not that we're not going to make profit off of it, but it's for the better of, us as well as a company.
So they say customers don't seem to mind too much because they enjoy the food at Chessa's. Both Shalana and Kailani are minimum wage employees whose hourly rates will go up by 50 cents.
And it only went up a little bit, they're fine with that.
Are you guys minimum wage, if I don't mind my asking?
Yes.
And what did you think about it?
I'm perfectly
Both the governor and the legislature have rebuffed the Chamber of Commerce's pleas to delay the minimum wage hike for at least 6 months, citing an expected downturn in the economy from the coronavirus scare. Small businesses like Chessa are having to respond as the chamber predicted, but raising prices to offset to the added costs. The governor may say the outbreak is over, but as Sabrina Salas Montanani reports, that doesn't mean Guam's done with dengue.
following the governor's address on Monday when she proudly proclaimed,
"Our dengue fever outbreak is over."
a comment on KUAM social media from a concerned viewer stating he was just released from the hospital last week Monday for the dengue fever. Matter of fact, public health confirms they're still seeing sporadic cases, but not classifying it as an outbreak. The agency, in a media release issued this morning, confirmed there have been 2 confirmed cases in the past 2 months, one in January and yesterday. Public health, however, will declare another dengue outbreak when the number of locally acquired confirmed cases is 3 in a 2-week period. The governor's Monday declaration, however, was enough for GDOE to announce it would be returning to its regular uniform policy next week. But that changed today with Public Health's press release about sporadic cases. Students now will continue following the modified uniform policy, allowing students to wear long pants and long-sleeve shirts. For now, residents are still encouraged to be vigilant in prevention efforts such as cleaning up trash, water containers, and other mosquito breeding areas. Additionally, on Friday, Public Health is continuing the distribution of mosquito nets at the Estumbo Senior Center in Dededo, the Tuning Gym, and the Agate Community Center. This from 2 to 7 p.m. The distribution of the nets are being prioritized to vulnerable populations and those living in substandard homes. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas, Matsinani.
Amidst the problematic closures of both public pools and the reinstatement of former State Historic Preservation Officer Linda Uggan, DPR Director Richard Ibanez has resigned. Ibanez, in a letter to Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, cited health reasons as the reason for his resignation. A source close to the situation tells KUAM Ibanez was forced to resign. Ibanez had faced controversy recently over the closure of both public swimming pools because of public health concerns due to a lack of maintenance by the contractor. He also faced some fire over his termination of former State Historic Preservation Officer Linda Uggan. Uggan won the appeal of her termination before the Civil Service Commission and was recently reinstated to her job. "I want to thank Rich for his service, and I respect his decision to focus on his health. I wish him all the best," said Governor Leon Guerrero. Today will be Ibanez's last day on the job, and in response to his resignation, Oversight Chair Senator Kelly Marsh-Taitano said, quote, "The public in my office has made it clear that we want real durable solutions to the perennial pool problems. We need to continue the oversight to make sure DPR remains accountable and has practical long-term solutions that can be implemented," end quote. The continuation hearing scheduled for tomorrow has been postponed. Guam Public Library System staffers say they want to close the book on their boss, but Library Director Arlene Santos says the board should go tell the governor if they've got a problem with her leadership. Chris Barnett has more.
Everybody knows you're supposed to be quiet in the library, but it looks like library staff are making noise because they're not happy with Acting Director Arlene Santos. Guam Public Library System Board Vice Chairman Chris Serengen confirms the board has received 8 complaint letters about Santos from library staff, and there are only 18 employees under her watch. Sources saying there's intimidation, bullying, and retaliation, with the board vice chair telling KUAM News, quote, "There are serious issues with Santos's leadership." He confirms the board has already met one-on-one with staff.
So I've heard that there are some concerns. I don't know about complaints, but there was concerns. So I cannot, I can't say anything right now because I don't know what actually was brought up. If they did go to the board, then the board, I would feel, would need to confront me about it first. The acting director, so I would think that as a matter of professional courtesy, they would let me know and then let me know that they're going to address it with the governor.
But does the library board even have the authority to discipline or reprimand Santos if they find faults with her management? Well, according to Santos, the answer is no.
They would have to go and discuss it with the governor because they haven't exercised their authority to hire me or say they tell the governor they don't want me. That, they haven't come to that discussion.
Santos has gone through 2 90-day acting appointments. She's been the acting library director since July of last year, and her second 90-day appointment ended in January. But the library board still hasn't hired her. She says it may be because they don't have the budget to pay her $70,000 a year salary.
I was hired initially under the governor's office as her special assistant, and I'm still in that position.
So while the governor may have detailed her to the library 7 months ago, Santos said her acting appointment to the library is still good.
I was appointed acting by the governor, so that acting is good for a year.
But why hasn't the library board officially hired her? The board hasn't hired her because, according to Vice Chair Serengen, she isn't qualified for the job. KUAM News confirming with Santos she doesn't meet the qualifications laid out in Guam law to be library director.
The qualifications of the law that exists right now, no, I don't meet.
So which ones there don't you meet?
I have a master's, but it's not a master's in library science.
So then all the other criteria you meet?
Well, yeah. I am here. I was placed here by the governor to be the acting director until such time that a director is hired.
We asked Santos if she thinks the board hasn't hired her yet because she's not qualified.
I think that would be the governor to answer that question, whether she feels that's an issue or not, because she's the one that makes the appointment.
We also asked Santos why the board would need to hire her if she says her acting appointment from the governor is good for a year.
No, I didn't say I'm going to be here for a year. I'm saying that, the governor has the flexibility of keeping me here up to a year, but I would think that the board would need to decide, who they want to be the director here.
Meanwhile, Serengen said the board plans to meet with Santos today to address the staff's complaints. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Adelup Press Secretary Crystal Palco did not return a request for comment about the story as of news time. And several $100 million in construction projects have already been awarded, but we're still just 10% into the buildup that will relocate a rotating force of 5,000 Marines to Guam. In part 2 of our interview with Joint Region Marianas Commander Rear Admiral John Manoni, he wanted to reassure that the arriving troops will be good neighbors and a benefit to the community.
The Admiral says the buildup remains on track, with the first arrival of troops expected in 2024. About 1,800 Marines and dependents will be permanently based here, and another 3,000 will be on rotation at any given time.
As a guy who's deployed with Marines my entire career, 28 plus years, I've seen basically no better friends, no better neighbors than the United States Marine Corps.
He says that goes for the military community in general. For instance, last year alone, they responded to 335 calls for mutual aid, from ambulance transport and medical assistance to sea rescue to ordnance disposal to firefighting help. Then there's the economic benefit of both permanent and visiting troops, like the recent visit of the USS Teddy Roosevelt.
It's estimated that those 5,000 sailors and Marines as part of that strike group on the aircraft carrier contribute about $100 to maybe $200 a day to the local economy. Simple math leads you to believe then that that's a $500,000 to $1 million a day influx into the local economy.
And while the goal, he says, is to be the best neighbor possible, he also has a responsibility to ensure the welfare of those under his command, a role he takes very seriously.
I had a young sailor, when I was in command of the helicopter squadron, on Christmas Eve call me and say that he was thinking about hurting himself. So we hung up the phone. I called my entire support staff. They picked me up at my house. We all went out in town, the old Perez Acres out there up in Jigo, and went and visited that sailor. That sailor had a loaded gun on his coffee table. I am convinced to this day that we prevented a suicide there. We got that sailor the help he needed.
That happened during the third of his now 4 stints on Guam. One of his daughters was born here during a previous assignment, and his wife was a teacher at Fidagatsan and Upi elementary schools.
I'll tell you, Guam is like a second home to me. It is a place where people embrace the military, that the patriotism is on full display. I'm happy to be back here. It's a long way from my children who are on the East Coast, so that's kind of tough sometimes, but my wife and I truly enjoy our time on Guam.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Stick around for more news here on Prime Time.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
In 2019, we raised the bar by launching the first ever lifetime powertrain warranty on new Hyundais. And now we're excited to share that starting February 1st, all new 2020 Jeeps, Ram trucks, and Dodge Performance cars will come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. That includes all your favorites like the Jeep Gladiator and award-winning Ram 1500.
So come on over to Cars Plus and experience what makes us different, like our homegrown culture, state-of-the-art facility, world-class products, and unparalleled value.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back. Guam Police Department arrested 45-year-old Gilbert Florendo Custerbeck and 47-year-old Mona Lisa Cabrera Custerbeck in connection with a sexual assault of a female minor. The victim reported to a school official she had been sexually assaulted by Gilbert in 2018 and again in 2019. According to a release from GPD, the victim told her older sibling, who then informed Mona Lisa of the incidents, and she told the siblings to not tell anyone. Gilbert was arrested for committing second-degree criminal sexual conduct, child abuse, and family violence. Mona Lisa was arrested for child abuse and family violence. Both Gilbert and Mona Lisa Custerbeck were booked and confined at the Department of Corrections. Daryl Jake Guerrero appeared in district court with his new counsel attorney, Curtis Vandeveld. Guerrero was indicted for possession of 50 or more grams of meth with intent to distribute. He was previously represented by the Office of the Federal Public Defender and is one of the 9 detainees that have filed a declaration on the inhumane conditions at the Hagåtña Detention Center. Guerrero had motioned for pretrial release with a third-party custodian. However, before arguments are made, Judge Michael Bordalio scheduled a continuance for 1 week to provide Attorney Vandeveld reasonable time to review his client's previously filed motions and trial dates. Guerrero will reappear in court on March 5th. He was caught on site after attempting to burglarize a home and then blamed it on someone else. On February 23rd, 48-year-old Jonathan Torres Tautau was found hiding behind a rusted 55-gallon drum surrounded by a concrete wall on the victim's property in Tamuning. The victim told police he saw Tautau standing by his window, where they found a chisel and pair of black socks. Police also noted damage to the bedroom window frame, where small pry marks were left. According to court documents, Ted Tautau stated, quote, "I just chased a Chuukese guy in here. I know I'm not supposed to be here, but you should look for that guy because I don't know what he's doing, end quote. Tao also told police his name was John Cruz, but when he lifted his shirt to wipe his face, they saw the name Tao tattooed across his stomach. He was charged with attempted burglary, criminal mischief, and criminal trespass. Gilvin Duenas Charfrez was already at the Guam Police Department Processing Center on February 24th when something suddenly fell and hit the ground. According to court documents, officers with Charfrez heard the object fall. When they checked to see what it was, they found a glass ball type makeshift pipe containing scorch marks in front of a door next to Charfrez's foot. Charfrez said the pipe wasn't his, and a field test proved it was presumptive positive for amphetamines. Charfrez was arrested on a charge of illegal possession of a Schedule II controlled substance as a third-degree felony. With Judge Michael Bordalio's move to the federal district court, the local superior court now finds itself 2 judicial officers short on the bench. In a letter to the Speaker, the governor is calling on senators to, quote, act with all due haste in vetting of Attorney Dana Gutierrez, who was nominated back on November 19th. The governor says she intends to appoint Gutierrez to replace Bordalio and will soon announce another nominee to fill the second vacancy. Justice Committee Chair Senator Therese Terlahi responded today saying they're working diligently to properly evaluate the judicial nominee in accordance with Guam law and the standing rules. Terlahi says the process is expected to be completed as early as next month. And the Guam Chamber of Commerce welcomed Guam Department of Education Superintendent John Fernandez as a guest speaker at their member meeting. Fernandez presented on workforce development and the college and career readiness programs offered at the public schools through their partnerships. He informed the business community that these programs are in GDOE's state strategic plan and that the department values the responsibility in offering students options as they transition out of high school.
When you think about Guam and our community into the future, you realize that you've got a lot of visionaries out there, you've got people in the trenches working in the private sector and the public sector to lead. But the work that's going to take place is going to be handled by a workforce that primarily, for the most part, is going to be comprised of those 2,000 graduates we turn out every single year.
According to Fernandez, one of their strongest partners is the Guam Community College. GCC provides career technical education programs in each of the high schools that allows for students to start work before receiving their high school diploma. And you can find his e-fit and wood carvings and art pieces in many households on island and abroad. He's even created special pieces for numerous dignitaries. Robert Taitano has been so generous helping others in need, and now he needs our help. Joan Agan-Charfaris has more.
Seeing Robert Taitano in his shop at the Chamorro village, you would never know that he needs surgery. A master carver, recognized by the Guam Council on the Arts and Humanities Agency, Taitano has been a wood carver for 45 years. He began carving as a hobby. It has turned into a passion, and he has made it his mission to pass down the craft, teaching it to anyone who wants to learn. Recently, Taitano has had to deal with some health issues.
I didn't know something is wrong with me until the doctor, they x-ray me.
They did an MRI on my husband, and that's how they found out his sickness.
Taitano was diagnosed with an abdominal aortic aneurysm. AAA is an enlarged area in the lower part of the major vessel that supplies blood to the body. The aorta is the largest blood vessel in the body, so a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm can cause a life-threatening bleeding. His wife, Antonia, by his side.
He's a very compassionate father, husband, loving grandpa.
Taitano remains in good spirits, but is eager to get the needed surgery because, according to him, he has some important work to do.
I gotta get healthy because I'm teaching the DOC.
You see, the master carver has been passing his craft to the underserved inmates at the Department of Corrections. It's a rehabilitation program that Taitano truly believes in. If you would like to help Taitano get the medical attention he needs, head over to www.gofundme.com and type in medical fundraiser for Robert P. Taitano.
Thank you.
We'll really appreciate it, and we love you, and thank you so much.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Joan Agan-Charfaris.
Keep it here. Dave Delgado is next with sports.
make every day a plus.
My family is on whole home Wi-Fi powered by Plume.
Since we installed the Docomo whole home Wi-Fi, what did you guys notice about it?
When you pull up the driveway, it automatically connects, and I don't have to get out of my car right away and come upstairs to go on my phone.
My favorite thing is that it doesn't buffer when I'm